What up, YouTube leagues? Coming back at you with another Starcraft 2 cast. On the bottom right-hand side of the map, we have our blue Terran player Fenring, and on the top left-hand side of the map, we have our red Terran player Wrath. Both players throwing out the GLHF, Wrath throwing out the U2, but Fenring, always good-mannered, throwing out the thank you with the happy face. You might recognize Fenring from one of my previous casts. He sent me a few emails of games for me to cast. So this is my second game of his that I am casting. This is a gold level tournament grand finale here. So both players have a little bit of something to lose on the line. They have been committing to winning this tournament for, I think the online tournaments are 3 or 4 games. So it is not something either player is going to want to throw away lightly. Taking a look here, both players throwing out a relatively standard opener, no proxies to speak of. It is going to be a wall on the ramp for both players. Now, if you are new to my channel, I do want you to know that my goal is to cast games from the general ladder. I will mix in some high-level games as well, but I feel like the general ladder just does not get enough love. And I think it's really cool to see what strategies exist in the different leagues. So I think it's going to add some variety, to my casting. And of course, I will mix in the Grandmaster level game here and there just to add things up and spice things up. So with that said, coming back to this game here, it looks like this is going to be a barracks into factory for Fenring and a double barracks for Wrath. So slightly different builds. I wonder if this is going to be either a Widow Mine drop or a potential tank all-in play. Right now, neither player is expanding. So we do see what is going to be double Reapers coming out of these barracks here. So we may see some harassment with good micro. Double Reaper could be very, very frustrating to deal with. We will have the Marines that will be able to ultimately chase the Reapers around and keep this mineral line safe. But with the good micro on the Reapers, they will be able to keep coming into the base and check out what's going on here. Reapers are very good, not only for harassment, but also for scouting. So we'll see what those Reapers are going to do here. We do see that they're running across the map to enemy Terran base. Let's see what they get done. It looks like they're stopping here, having a brief stand up, making sure they know what the plan is, and now they're going in after their little meeting. Great positioning on those Reapers. Fenring doing a great job at reacting to this. The Marines running immediately to engage these Reapers here. We do have this tank and a decent positioning of those Marines, staggered positioning of the army units, making sure that the Reapers have nowhere safe to be. But great micro by Wrath as well, able to keep both Reapers alive. Almost losing the one on the right here, but ultimately keeping both Reapers alive here. Now, if I do sound a little bit tired, forgive me. I think I'm coming down with a little bit of a cold, and my nose is so itchy, man. But that's not stopping us. That is not stopping us from casting a sweet game of StarCraft 2. All right, and this looks like it's going to be a medevac, double medevacs with both with tanks and Marines coming to drop into the Terran base here. And there's not much outside of what looks to be a few Marines, but this tank I think is going to finish up. If this tank sieges up near the command center, which it looks like he has this rally to, we'll be able to deny a lot of the drops that are going to be happening here, and it looks like he does. This siege tank is going to throw out so much damage before this siege tank is even able to finish. Great choice by Fenring not sieging up the second siege tank and focus firing the sieged up siege tank. And this siege tank suddenly getting 7 kills, almost dying. We have 2 hero Marines here. Can they take it out? And they can. One of the Marines goes down. The second one ultimately dying alongside him. That's a movie in and of itself. What a wild snipe on that tank from 2 Marines. Taking a look at the units lost tab here, though. 7 workers lost in that engagement, but at the cost of 11. Almost 11 units. Taking a look at the units lost, it is still Fenring below resources lost. It is 1,000 resources lost to 1,500 in favor of Fenring. So coming out slightly ahead in that engagement there, but ultimately losing the majority of his army. Both players losing a lot of army, though. Taking a look at the army supply, it is 9 army supply to 17 in favor of Fenring, which will put him in a very good position to do the second drop here. The Liberator will be great ground support, making sure that the Marines are safe and will be out of range of tank fire. Unfortunately, siege tanks do not shoot up, but they are insane anti-ground. So let's see what this Liberator and this double medevac drop can do here. With good micro on the Marines, though, and this is a lot of Marines, they may be able to snipe this Liberator, so we'll see. I think this Liberator should go closer towards the mineral line eventually. And it looks like it is. This is going to cost a lot of mining time for Wrath. Fenring has to be careful not to lose this medevac. It is still full of units here. Unfortunately, this tank in such a good position will be able to take out this siege tank right here before it's able to siege up itself. We do have the Liberator here, though, keeping an eye on the mineral line. This is so annoying to deal with, but if this tank goes down, these Marines will be able to run around and snipe this Liberator without taking any damage. But it looks like it's going to be a battle cruiser. I was looking at resources lost and totally missed this. This battle cruiser will be able to clean up the rest of this drop and immediately looks like warping into the enemy mineral line of Fenring right here, but this missile turret is going to put in work. We have double missile turrets, and they will be able to take out this battle cruiser if Wrath is not careful. They are such good anti-air. This battle cruiser already down to half health right here. Great game sense by Fenring as well, making sure he has ample anti-air to take care of not only drops, but warp-ins of battle cruisers, which is not something that that I was really expecting here, I'll be honest. We're already 8 minutes into this game, and we're still no expansion from either player. Both players going a relatively all-in play style. It does look like this research here on the engineering bay will finish up. The battlecruiser trying to deny it, but ultimately it does finish. It looks like Fenring is planning on replacing this engineering bay. He's not even bothering to save this one, which I don't blame him. Repairing it would be kind of a waste. He would lose a lot of SCVs. This tank in a great position, but unfortunately will not be able to do anything about this battlecruiser here. On the other side of the map, it does look like we have a Banshee that's going to try to throw down some harassment behind this, but it's this lone Banshee, and I think, taking a look at the units here, it is 22 Marines. 22 Marines on the red side of the base. Ultimately, this missile turret taking out that battle cruiser, punishing a little bit of the greed that Wrath was having with that battle cruiser. It did do a lot of damage, but ultimately going down to that missile turret. Fenring taking out 1, 2. Can he take out 3 SCVs? Does not manage to take out 3 SCVs and immediately melts to the Marines. S tier 1 unit. I keep saying it, but these Marines are just so good. A tier 1 unit, 50 minerals, shoots up and down. I just can't get over it, man. And the upgrades they get, combat shield and stim, they are just so wild. To be fair, the other tier 1 units also get good upgrades. Charge zealots are just so superior to regular Zealots. It's actually insane. Taking a look here, it does look like both players are planning on expanding. So we went from 2 one base all any type plays to now going to be finally seeing some expansions here. And I don't blame either player. In mirror matchups, the player that plays more greedy tends to be the player that loses. That's not always the case, but if you're going against some sort of all-in and you expanded early, you're just going to be behind in army supply, and if you don't have the micro to handle it, you can lose the game here. So it looks like both players are going to be expanding at effectively the same time here. It looks like this command center for Fenring will go down slightly sooner. I do like the use of the missile turrets here. Could stand to throw down, and he was already reading my mind, a siege tank here as well. Great mix of anti-air and anti-ground, and this looks like it's going to be a planetary fortress. This tank immediately denying what I think was a Marine for coming in to scout here, and I don't think I've actually seen a planetary fortress with the retro skin on the command center, so that is a very cool animation to see. Curious to see what it looks like when it's finished. And for the red Terran player, this is going to be an orbital command. This will put him ahead a little bit in economy here with those mules, but we do have the retro style looking battle cruiser coming in, wreaking so much havoc on these SCVs here. Great reaction time by Fenring as well, warping that battle cruiser away to safety. Taking a look at the units lost tab here, it is 20 workers killed total to 4. The worker supply is literally double for Fenring right now. With the mules, he will be able to keep up a little bit in economy, but that's still a lot of workers to be behind. Army supply, he is ahead by 12, it looks like. So army supply in favor of the red Terran player, but worker supply heavily in favor of the blue Terran player. It's not even a question. And man, that's so cool. The planetary fortress looks so cool on that retro skin. One thing to keep in mind, though, it looks like Wrath is going to be expanding to the 3rd base quickly. Oh, this SCV, I think it's going to be able to take out this this enemy SCV. It doesn't. This battle cruiser protecting this child, melting this pesky SCV. It rolls down the ramp in gruesome fashion. That poor SCV tried its best. Excuse me, man. This will allow Wrath to catch up in worker supply, though, and as we can see, workers already catching up for the red Terran player. It is now 27 workers to 37. So Fenring should consider expanding soon. He is going for the 2-base play, but he's going to be mined out of his main base relatively soon. If he's not careful, he is going to be mining off 1 base again, and we do see another command center coming down for Fenring here. So this is still anybody's game. Army supply is in favor of Wrath, but neither player is moving out with an attack anytime soon. I think after that all-any sort of play style, both players are focusing on macroing up, but this Widow Mine is going to be not as big of a deal as I thought it would be. Ultimately only getting the 1 kill. I would have liked to see it attack these mules. Now it is running away. These battle cruisers briefly on the hunt. These Marines keeping an eye on this ramp just to make sure this Widow Mine doesn't come back and throw down some more harassment here. And I think this is going to be a move out of 3 battle cruisers. This is going to be interesting. Taking a look at the blue Terran side of the base, we have 3 battle cruisers of his own and plenty of anti-air. I don't think this is going to be a huge issue for Fenring to deal with. And they may run into the firing line of this Widow Mine, taking out a quarter of this battle cruiser's health here. These battle cruisers, where did they just warp into? Okay, they warped in to engage with these battle cruisers. I don't think it was necessary, but It was very cool to see. Ultimately, Wrath losing one of those battle cruisers. The other battle cruisers able to warp into safety will be able to get repaired back home. I would like to see a repair on this battle cruiser here. It is so close to dead. And it does look like Wrath is planning on repairing. This is a very expensive unit to build, and it takes a long time to build. So if you can keep it alive, you better hope that you do. This Widowmine still chilling away. I would maybe burrow it at the 4th base location. At this point, the game is reaching the late game. So burrowing it in the 4th base location might not be a bad plan here. I think I have some time to take a sip of coffee here. One thing you should know about me, I am a major coffee addict. I work in tech, so coffee is basically water at this point. I can drink it all day, which is very unfortunate, but it does help me cast games and it helps me be productive. So, you know what? I'll take what I can get. And it looks like this is going to be 4 battle cruisers coming in for the attack on the Red Terran base. Battle cruiser to battle cruiser, and with that warp in mechanic, it is so fast. It is so fast. I'm used to seeing recall done by Protoss where you're still at risk of losing quite a bit of army units, but the warp in for battle cruisers is just so fast. Even if they're almost dead, you can save them. It looks like the Yamato cannon focus firing this battle cruiser, and as we just witnessed, it was so close to dead, but it warped back home instantly. It has such a Star Trek vibe to it, I'll be honest. It looks so cool when they warp back home, but I think this almost looks like it's going to be battle cruiser tag. This Widowmine chilling in a very strategic spot. It's not something that you would really keep an eye on or expect to see a Widowmine right here. So if you have SCVs coming to saturate this 4th base location, they may just periodically get sniped. Eventually, it will get noticed, but let's check this out. Just as I was speaking, this Widowmine denied the 4th base of the Red Terran player, but ultimately will get noticed. Very good reaction by Wrath, not letting that go unsolved, able to find the Widowmine and take it out. Will likely throw down this 4th base now. We do have the 4th base that will be shortly established here by Fenring. So, worker supply is evening up. It was double worker supply ahead in favor for Fenring for a while there. As we can see on the units lost tab here, 22 workers killed to 8 in favor of Fenring. So that is a ton of workers to have killed so early in the game. But excuse me, now the game does seem to be evening out here. Army supply relatively even. 91 army supplied to 85 in favor of Wrath. 48 workers to 58 in favor of Fenring. So this is really anybody's game at this point. And keep in mind, this is the grand finale of a gold level tournament. So both players have a lot on the line. Having that little trophy is so satisfying, and it feels good to win a tournament. So I understand the position that these players are in. They're not going to want to let this go. So they may let this game go on as long as it takes, as long as they can win. They don't mind sticking around a long macro game here. And this is going to be a lot of Vikings, though. They will be able to focus fire the battle cruisers of the enemy Terran player. I feel like we don't see Sky Terran too often. That battle cruiser does get sniped. That is so many Vikings, and also in the firing line of the missile turrets. Losing one battle cruiser here, but we have so many battle cruisers here following up. Excuse me. I would like to see some Vikings mixed in for Fenring as well, just because they are such good anti-air. What am I seeing here? This is going to be a hidden base by Wrath. This is sneaky. I kind of like this, especially later on in the game. I don't think at this point Fenring is going to be looking or scouting this side of the map unless he's planning on doing a drop and flying around here and just consequently seeing this. So this base may be hidden for quite a while here. Taking a look at the workers, it's still pretty ahead in favor for Fenring. It's 66 workers now to 47. Army supply almost even. 15 army supply ahead for Wrath. So Wrath going for a little bit more macro here. We do have a decent amount of Marines, but at this point, taking a look at the production tab, it is just Sky Terran, which is very cool to see. I have not seen a Sky Terran versus Sky Terran game in so long. I would like to see some Viking support for these battle cruisers here, though. Ultimately, this is just so much anti-air for Red that I think he'll be able to hold this push for the time being. With the Marines as well, he is going to some very hostile territory here. Trying to focus fire down this command center, and does, and then warps away. I love it. That might actually be a pretty game-defining moment here for Fenring, because suddenly it looks like we only have Terran mining off of what is going to be 2 bases, and one of them hidden. But this is a huge Viking counter push. He is on the hunt for battle cruisers, but this is a lot of battle cruisers back home for the blue Terran player with the missile turret support as well. Terran just so good at turtling up. It is such a risk sometimes to go for the counter play, but these Vikings able to snipe this command center here as well. This will even out the game slightly. I would like to see these Vikings lift off and run away. They are so much faster in the sky. This is huge. These Vikings are going to be sniped by these battle cruisers here. This will thin out the herd of Vikings and ultimately give these battle cruisers a great position for the counter offensive. Ultimately able to run away. They still outrun battle cruisers. I don't know. I think they're going to be able to run home here. Vikings are so cool. I feel like we don't see them. Morph enough into the ground, but we do see another counter push here for these battle cruisers. They are just going for the heart of the enemy Terran base, but I think all these battle cruisers will be cleaned up here. We do have a lot of ghost academies. I wonder if we're going to see nukes at some point in the game. Right now, I think both players are really focusing on going for the Sky Terran. Although Fenring lost a lot of his battle cruisers there, it does look like he thinned out the herd of battle cruisers for the enemy Terran player quite a bit. It looks like we only have 2 battle cruisers left for the red Terran player here, and we have a lot of Vikings coming in. I think these are probably going to land. They are going to take out 1 battle cruiser. That was a pretty big engagement for Wrath here, though. Those missile turrets taking out a lot of those Vikings. All out. I'm not really sure. I just merged 2 words together, all out instead of all out. I kind of like it. Unfortunately, I don't think the English language is going to adopt it anytime soon, though. Taking a look at the resources lost tab here, it is almost even. Slight advantage to the red Terran player at this point. 13,000 resources lost to almost 15,000 for Fenring. These tanks will easily be able to clean up these Marines. We just don't have that critical mass of Marines that we usually see in the later game because both players were focusing so much on creating that anti-air. This hidden base, as I suspected, very safe. There's just no action going down on the left-hand side of the map. And this base happily mining away. It is 70 workers to 47 in favor of the blue Terran player. So army supply also relatively even as well. So even though we had a couple of very big engagements for both players are macroing up well behind this. I'm very curious to see who wins this gold tournament finale here. These SCVs doing a great job at repairing whatever they can. This will help keep keep the Terran anti-air army healthy here. We have so much. We have so many Vikings in this game. It's actually insane. This ghost here, though. This ghost looks like a bruiser, and we do have the nuke. I don't know if I agree with the placement on it. It's just focusing on the supply depots, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. It might be able to take out some SCVs, does not. Able to take out a lot of supply depots, but ultimately, Fenring still at max supply in terms of supply depots. We do have another nuke here as well, on top of the fact that these Marines are going to be cleaning up these missile turrets. This is so many Vikings, though. So many Vikings will all be able to clean up these Marines here, and it does look like that nuke was denied. That ghost went down. I think though, if Wrath doesn't focus on expanding one more time here, he's going to start slowly falling behind. As we can see, it is 117 army supply to 112 in favor of the blue Terran player Fenring, and Fenring is doing a great job. He is expanding like a madman, and it looks like this hidden base will be spotted. I think this might decide the game here. There's not a lot of mining outside of this base going on for the red Terran player. This poor command center immediately getting melted. These Vikings flying away, taking their kill in stride, and now this is going to decide the game, I think. I mean, we have 32 workers to 65. We have what, 2 mining bases, and this base is already almost mined out. The natural base here for the red Terran player, so almost 1 mining base for the red Terran player to how many expansions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, although this one is not mining, so it is going to be 4 mining bases against 1. So I think it really depends, though. It depends. This engagement looks like it's favoring red quite a bit here. It's actually hard to tell. It looks like it's actually swinging into favor of blue. What a close fight between these Vikings, but ultimately blue coming out ahead here ever so slightly. Army supply is 87 to 62 in favor of the blue Terran player. Man, what a wild game. We just don't see so much Sky Terran, I feel like, as we do in other TvT games. This is such a focus on the Sky army right here. These Vikings just barely missing this engagement, which I think is good. This is a lot. This is a lot of Vikings here, but they ultimately land. Will take the fire from these tanks. These Vikings landing to take out the enemy push here. Ultimately losing those Vikings. Wrath just leaving the game, no GG, losing that army, deciding that he can't win. He likely saw that he was way behind in expansions here, not able to deny the expansions for Fenring, and realizing his position and leaving the game, losing that hidden base, although it was mining for quite a while. As we can see, these mineral patches are even almost mined out. Ultimately not able to keep up with the economy, was not expanding as much as he should have been. We did see what was almost a pretty big engagement for Wrath here. There was only about 4 Vikings to, I think, like 9 or 10 Vikings would have been able to take out some of Fenring's Vikings, but ultimately not getting that engagement. They just barely missed each other, and then jumping into the firing line of not only missile turrets but tanks, and then ultimately losing his the rest of his army there, realizing his position and losing the game. So very cool game. It looks like Fenring victorious in that gold level tournament finale, and winning the game. So very cool. If you liked what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email in the description below. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one.